to chatting with these two Canadian pop artists, Josh Bogert and Olivia Penalva. They have a new collaboration together called That Was Then, This Is Now. We're excited to talk to them all about it. Hi, people. How are we?
Hi.
We're good. Hey.
We're really good.
I'm super happy to have you on the show. So first of all, I'm going to ask you separately, how did you each get your start in music? And I'll start with you, Olivia.
Oh gosh. I think I started singing when I was around 11, really tried to take it seriously around 13, which sounds so weird to say now because I was just a baby and I'm trying to, have this whole career. But I think around 14, I just started putting out music and trying to get it out there. And it just kind of, I feel like, has grown since then. I do not like listening to the music that I did when I was like 12 and 13. It's definitely improved. And I think that's just, come from putting myself into this industry and just trying to get better. And yeah.
Amazing. Josh?
Well, I mean, music was just a huge part of my life, like right from when I was born, basically. Like, my family, we loved to listen to music. My parents didn't really play all that much. My dad played in high school, some trumpet and stuff, but my parents really wanted us to have the opportunity. So I started violin lessons when I was 4 years old. I studied classical violin for like 7 years and then was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'll play guitar. And so I started playing guitar and singing. That's kind of when I decided like music was what I wanted to do in terms of a career. So that was like 10, 11, 12 during those years. And yeah, I started writing songs. Same idea, right? It's like, I'll go back and look at those and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe people actually told me that I could do this. But I guess, it gets better as you do it more. And here we are.
And I see instruments behind Olivia. How many instruments do you play, Olivia, and which one is your like spirit?
Well, guitar, I actually know how to play. Piano, I've always just played by ear, so I don't do it live, but I'll write to a piano, but I'd say guitar. And mainly though, I've just always loved to sing, and so that's kind of my instrument. I know whenever there's a chance to get up and play, if I have a choice between I play guitar for myself or I bring someone, I like to bring someone just because I feel like then I can fully focus on that part. But yeah.
Josh, what about you? You obviously play like probably 97 instruments.
I do play a lot of instruments. I'm surrounded by guitars right now too. You can't see them, but I've got like one here and one here. They're just like everywhere.
What a keener.
Yeah, no, but I can kind of, I'm the same with keys. Like I kind of like play by ear, and then I played drums and I played saxophone all through high school and obviously violin when I was a kid. It sounds terrible if I try now though.
I love it.
Now, for each of you, what would you consider your first big break that really got things rolling? And I'll start with Josh on this one.
Yeah, I think like because I right at the beginning when I was trying to make it work as an artist, I started like playing just cafes, open mics, like restaurants, things like that, and that was a lot of what I was doing. And there was this moment of like, okay, like how does this, level up? And it wasn't the way I expected. I ended up signing on with an acting agent just because it seemed like, I might as well. And then I ended up auditioning for a show called Backstage, which I booked a lead part on. And it was like my character was a musician. So it really tied in nicely for me. I was on that show for 2 seasons on Family Channel, Disney Channel, and Netflix. And that really kind of helped me connect with like the first label that I signed to and the first manager that I started working with. And so that really launched me into the professional industry, I think.
Olivia?
Oh, well, it's funny. I think around 14, I had put out a Christmas song. It was called Christmas for Two. I'll never forget because at school, any class I was in, they'd pull up the video and I had all my classmates and I think they were making fun, but it did well locally. So I had a laugh about that. And I think after that, I really just wanted to branch out from, having a Christmas song, which is easier to, I feel like, put out on the radio and whatnot. That time of year, everyone wants to listen to that kind of stuff. But afterwards, I think really when I was around 16, I released a single called Skyline. And that was kind of when I noticed the shift with radio and just my numbers online growing, and kind of the first time I'd experienced people really enjoying my music. And so, yeah, I just kind of kept going from there. And yeah, it was a very cool experience.
Talk to me about, because Olivia, you just mentioned this, about online like views and hits and likes and all that kind of stuff. Because it seems like, from my perspective, artists nowadays almost have to prove that they have their own fan base before anything really takes off. So, A, is that true? B, is there a lot of pressure with that?
Oh, I feel like it's tough because you can have a video or a song blow up, and then those people that liked it, like they either will stick with you or they won't. And I find building that fan base, I still find that hard. I feel like I have all these numbers, but those people that I'm really trying to connect with, I still feel like I'm sometimes waiting for those moments, because I feel like I've definitely had, I've done covers where those have blown up, and then I'll release something of my own, and then people will really like that and respond really well. And it's really cool to see, the few people that come and do join and follow everything you do. It's really cool. But I would say TikTok, social media, like all of that stuff, it's really interesting because it's constantly changing and you're constantly having to try new things just to put yourself out there. And, when I started music as an artist, like that wasn't really there. So that wasn't something I ever thought I'd really have to do. So you're constantly adjusting just to promote yourself and get yourself out there to those people. So,
Josh?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think even compared to like a few years ago with social media compared to now, it's the landscape has totally changed, where it's like it used to be based on the number of people that you have following you, and that number isn't as important as it used to be. Now it's like all virality, and I see it in like the type of stuff that's also, become successful and how long that lasts. Like if we look at the top end, it's like it's a very different landscape than it used to be. I think there's a lot of like, attention on something for a very short time, and then it's very hard to keep these days. So I totally agree.
Something that I've noticed as a radio announcer, in the last like 2 years, I would say, especially since pandemic, we'll get these like, I'll call them one-hit wonders, but they're like TikTok one-hit wonders nowadays, where it's like, I won't name
15-second
names
clip
because I
wonders.
always hope that they'll come back for, but like we played one song, on our station, and we played it like to death, and this person got a record deal, and then it sucked, and then that's it for this person
Yeah.
for now. So it seems like it's scary if people start writing just for TikTok. Do you guys ever find yourself having to fight yourself against that, being like, I don't want to just write for TikTok, but I might need to do this? Olivia,
Mhm.
you were like ready to go.
no, I'm so sorry. My dog was barking. I felt so bad. Maybe Josh, you start with
Yeah,
that.
no, totally. Yeah, I think it's like one of those things where I try not to, I don't know, like I think a lot of artists are writing specifically for TikTok. It's obviously something I keep in mind when I'm writing songs. I think it's, it's like, okay, is there a section that we can use? But at the end of the day, I'm also like, I don't want to, because I've seen and heard of like artists who will end up with a 15-second clip that they post, and then everyone wants them to drop the full song, and they don't actually have a full song, so they have to rush to like finish
Right.
that, and then it's like the rest of the song doesn't really fit. And my priority is always like the whole story. It's like, is the song good as a whole thing? And I don't know if that's even necessary now, but it's part of like how I feel as an artist, that I need it to be that way. So that's generally my process. Is I'll keep it in mind, but it's not like the most important thing, I guess.
I completely agree. I feel like I can't be promoting something if there's not, the whole backstory. And I think social media is so hard because you will have some people blow up and they will stay current, and everyone will, have their eyes on them. But that's really hard, I feel like, to do. And otherwise, as Josh kind of said, you can put these things up and then it's like 15 seconds and people forget. And that's the hard part about platforms like that, is just trying to constantly keep your name out there. Because if you're not doing it, then people aren't seeing you. And that's the tough part. Like, you'll see me on there when I release a song. And then afterwards, once that kind of cycle for that single is done, I kind of like, I'm on there a little less, but it's tough because you constantly have to keep up. So I do agree with Josh, though. I'm very much, I like to have the full story there. I can't imagine like I've never released unreleased music because I'm like, wait, what if people do love it and I haven't finished the song yet? It's
No,
so much
totally.
pressure.
Yeah.
Who wants to tell me how you each met? Because I know you're both in British Columbia, but we've
Yeah.
discussed before we started this interview that you're like hours apart. So tell me how this all went down.
Yeah, so we have like a mutual friend, Andrew Allen, who we actually wrote this song that we have out. We wrote with him. I was actually going to Vernon because he lives in Okanagan as well. And I was going out there and I was like, hey, because I'd heard Olivia's music and obviously knew about her, but we'd never met. And I really liked her voice and her songs and everything. And I was like, I think it'd be cool for us to all write something together. So that was really how we were supposed to all be in person actually. And
Yeah.
then it was like some COVID stuff. And then we ended up Olivia was on Zoom anyway.
On
So
Zoom.
we never actually met in person until we filmed the music video for this song.
Yes, it was so much fun. And just kind of to circle back to Andrew too, I feel like I always joke he's the person that like brings everyone together because you had a relationship with him and as did I, like separately. And he's really good at just bringing people together, and thank goodness he did, because we got to do this and we've worked together a few other times. But yeah, the video was the first time we ever met, so that was a really fun way to meet. It was really cool.
Yeah, like I feel like I already knew you when we like
Yeah. Oh,
actually met in
definitely.
person, but it was the first time we've been in the actual same place, which was pretty sick.
And I feel like after COVID, that's how things were for so long, because everything was over Zoom. So most of the people, I'd go meet with them and we'd be like, wait, this is like the first time we've actually been in the same room together instead of just over a screen, which was so weird. But yeah, that's how things were for a while.
That's amazing. Actually, I think I have an Andrew Allen story as well. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and I'm pretty sure one of the last times we saw each other in person, I'd have to look in my Instagram, but I'm pretty sure he came to our studios the day Prince died.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I think because I remember having an interview with him, and then it was like crazy because we had to deal with the fallout
Yeah.
from obviously one of the biggest, musicians on the planet. But Andrew
Yeah.
Allen is an amazing person. Love him.
He
So
is.
I'm not
That's
surprised that the two of you ended up
that
working together.
that's him right there, actually.
Aw.
His album, yeah, which I produced for him. But yeah, that was like he's a gem.
He is.
Mhm.
Exactly.
He actually too, like just like crazy. I think I was 14 when I met him, and that was kind of what got me into writing, because I was writing on my own. My songs, the idea was there, just I wanted to write about all these adult things, and I hadn't lived through them yet. And so I met Andrew because a friend had filmed a video of me and sent it to him. And I think he said his first like reaction when you get sent things like that usually is like, oh, some mom, is trying to send me their kid, like I don't want to watch this. But luckily he did, because we became really good friends. And yeah, he really got me into co-writing, and kind of full circle now that we've done this together.
No, 100%.
So the song that was then, this is now, what is this like? How did the subject matter come around, and what do you want people to take away from it?
I'm trying to remember who came up with it to begin with in the session, because it was the three of us, and this is like so long ago now that we actually
I know. Was it? I think 2020.
Yeah, it was 2020 when we wrote it. So it's been a while, but I don't know who originally came up with it, but I think it's like a highly relatable topic regardless. Like to me, it's like, and I've experienced this even since we wrote the song. It's like how a relationship can feel one way, or whether that's romantic or whatever it is, like a relationship with another person or a relationship with a situation or whatever, can feel like so strongly one way. And then you look back at it like later, almost from the outside, and you go, oh my gosh, like I don't think that could ever be again. It was only in that time that was like that. And I'm such a different person now. And I think that's kind of like what it is for me, I guess.
Totally. I would have to agree. And I think too, it just kind of covers that also awkward first feelings of like running into somebody you had, so much history with, and really realizing like, I'll always kind of care for this person, but we'll never, as much as maybe you would think about it or want to go back, you'll never go back, because you're two completely different people.
Obviously, you guys are both songwriters. So here's a question for you, because there are some very successful artists that do not write for themselves and do very well regardless. Can you ever imagine yourselves not having a hand in every single song that you write and put out? Josh?
I'll go first. One of my earlier singles, I didn't write, and I hate that I didn't write it. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't think that's something I'll ever do again. It was like I released an EP of 4 songs, and then the 5th song I released with that label was I didn't write. And yeah, it's just it's not something where like, and at that point it kind of made sense. I was like very new at songwriting and stuff, whereas now I'm like, there's no way, like I'm too much of a control freak, I guess, ever. Like I produce, I mix and master my own songs. Like, I don't like anyone else touch them.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I definitely not in the books for me to give that up for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever not written on one of my own songs, because when I started, I was very adamant. I remember where I was listening to Ed Sheeran, and I just loved the way that he was writing music. It was like a full story from start to finish in each song. And I remember I was like, writing really bad songs at the time, but I was 12 or 13 thinking like, that's what I'm gonna do. Like I just feel like for me, when I sing, I like to sing about the things that I've experienced and that I can, kind of share with other people in a way that'll resonate with them, and tell them that, you're not the only person who's been through this. So yeah, I don't know. I can't remember a time that I haven't, and I don't think I ever would. I mean, I can't never say never, I guess, but it's just really, there's something really special about being involved in that process and then sharing that with the world.
Yeah, 100%.
As Canadian artists, I wanted to ask you what advice you would give to an up and comer right now who wants to be doing what you guys are doing. Where do they start? What do they do, Olivia?
Oh man, I guess 2 things is it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. Like, I've been doing this long enough to know that, you can't rush to anything. That is when you have those moments where something might blow up for 15 seconds. And if you want longevity in your career, I feel like it's really important to kind of understand that good things do take time. And then I'd say the other thing is just really surrounding yourself with good people, because this is a very tough industry and not everyone is in it for the same reasons as you might be, especially when you start it young. A lot of the time, I know for myself, when I started this, the end goal was never fame. It was just to kind of relate to people and share what I love with people. So I think surrounding yourself with people who also have those values, merging those 2 thoughts together. That's what I'd say.
Gosh.
Yeah, I obviously agree with that for sure. Like, I think people try and rush it, and what ends up happening too is like when you're trying to rush that process, it makes it very easy for people to take advantage as well. So another piece of advice that I would give is just like to trust yourself, and also try and rely on yourself for as long as possible, and not put your career in somebody else's hands, because I think a lot of artists make that mistake. So that would be my first piece. And my second piece would be also to like find the thing that really you can do over and over and over and over again and not get tired of. And for me, that was playing shows like right from the start. I think like the year before I booked that TV show, I played 100 shows in the year, I think, or something like that, and small shows. But like, I was every single weekend playing 1 or 2 shows, maybe even 3 shows. So it's definitely, that was what started it for me, but it could be, something totally different, especially now that everything's so digital. So it's finding the thing that you can just like repeat and repeat and repeat, and patience.
Last question for you both. Will you work together again? And what is up next for each of you? So I'll start with you, Josh.
Yeah, I would say I would definitely think we'll probably work together again. And we were supposed to write the other day, and then this is always what
I'm
happens.
pretty sure I hadn't known you. I
Yeah,
don't remember. Something happened. It was me though. I was
totally. Well, I mean, it happens to everybody, right? It's like things get moved around, but we will definitely absolutely be writing again. Who knows if there'll be another song together too, like in terms of both of us performing on it. But yeah, absolutely. And then for me, I mean, this release is leading up to my album this summer, so that's kind of like, everything that I'm thinking about right now is towards this album. And then I'm kind of excited to be like, okay, it's out, I've promoted it, all that stuff, and then be able to go back into like a creative zone and kind of chill out a bit, just because it's been like go for this album. So yeah, I'm gonna be in Toronto playing shows all summer, promoting the album, and then I'll come back and just like, write some new songs and do all that.
That's
I
great.
love it.
Olivia?
100% will work with Josh again. I actually want to, he's got such a good ear for production. So one thing I kind of want to dabble with him too is having him play around with some of the songs that I just don't. That's not my world, my realm. So
I'm down 100%.
yeah, I would love to. And then otherwise it's kind of similar about I have an EP coming out in the fall. So just kind of working to bringing, all the visuals for that vision to life. And I'm really excited about that.
Amazing. Guys, it's been so great to have you on the show. I appreciate you very much and keep making Canada proud.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That is Olivia Penalva and Josh Bogert. Make sure you find them on Instagram at Olivia Penalva and at Josh Bogert. Hey, it's Kelly, and I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for all of the support that you continue to show the Kelly Alexander Show and our latest program, Just Dance, that I co-host with award-winning choreographer Tina Landon. We've been having so much fun on Just Dance, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. We've done interviews with Brian and Scott Nicholson, who work with Ariana Grande, RJ and Nick, who work with Pink and Katy Perry, Luther Brown, who works with our girl Janet Jackson, and the list goes on. And we also have many surprises coming for you in this coming year. So please sign up and join us to have lots of fun. hy.page/Kelly Alexander Show, our YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, and our newsletter, which is kellyalexandershow.com/subscribe.